Let's bring in our guy, Danan Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. Of course, you hear him on the Chiefs radio network. You'll hear him on Christmas Day, as a matter of fact. Danan Hughes will ring in the holidays with everybody on the Chiefs radio network. He'll also be hosting Players Only coming up this evening or tomorrow night, I guess. It will. Normally, Danan joins us on a Thursday. What's going on, Danan?
What's going on, fellas?
You didn't play. I guess they weren't doing Christmas Day NFL games when you were playing. That's still a new thing.
I think if it landed on a Sunday, we would have played. So I feel like maybe we played. I played on Thanksgiving Day a couple of times, but can't remember Christmas. I feel like we did, but I'm not 100% sure.
Danan, what's the play? You're at home at least, so you do Christmas super early, 5:30, 6 in the morning, or you guys just do evening Christmas?
Nope, we already sent out the memo to the kids and grandkids and my in-laws that we will be doing it in the evening.
There you go.
So give us time to get back home. The game starts at 12. Should be over by 3:30-ish. By the time we get out of the parking lot, everybody will be here by 6 o'clock. So we are the host house. So, yeah, we will be having a Christmas night at the Hughes house.
Even more reason for a win, though, because you don't want people in a crappy mood after a loss to the Raiders or anything on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I think anytime you'd lose to the Raiders, it's going to be a crappy day.
Yeah.
So you definitely don't want it to be Christmas. So I'm expecting a win. I will say there's probably some confidence, some extra confidence on the Raiders side after scoring 63 points and, being relegated to that spoiler role, especially if you have the opportunity to do it within your division, can propel you. But I like our chances. I feel like we know how to win. There are teams that know how to win, and there are teams that know how to lose. And we're in a situation now where, especially with the degree of difficulty for the Ravens and the Dolphins and the Bills coming up in these next 3 weeks, I feel like we're in a prime position. Although we don't control our own destiny, I feel like we kind of do, in a way, because of those difficult games that those other teams have.
Danan, Peter King was on yesterday with The Drive, and he says, hey, if it was a different year with more talent at wide receiver, maybe they would have already benched Toney. I see Rob Gronkowski go on Kay Adams' show today and say you just don't love football if you're continuously making those types of costly mistakes. What do you do with Kadarius Toney when he's costing you football games, but it seems like you don't have the talent to do anything about it? What do you think Andy will do?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough predicament because I've always said that the toughest position to fill mid-season or even early season without OTAs and off-season and training camp is wide receiver. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit biased, but when you think about all the intricacies of this offense, the complexities of this offense, how could you really be a person that we would pick up off the street and thrust into this lineup? I don't think you would have enough time for any kind of gelling between Patrick Mahomes and that wide receiver. So I feel like when we break training camp, like that's who we got, and that's who we're going to fight with. That's what we're going to roll with. And now with Sky Moore going down, it does make it tough. But I will say, if you look at Marquez Valdez-Scantling's role, it has been minimized to some extent over the past few weeks, especially since the bye week. His reps have gone down, and Rashee Rice's reps have gone up. And you may see that. You may just see a core of 3 guys, Justin Watson being one of those guys, Rashee Rice obviously being one, and then pick the other guy, Richie James. You may just see a core of 3 guys like the old school offenses, the old school West Coast offense that we're going to see instead of the constant rotation of guys. Everybody seems to have their skill set. It's unfortunate because you don't get to this level. You don't get to the position of being a first-round pick with not being able to catch the ball. But when it rains, it pours, and that's what it's doing in Kadarius Toney's life as far as on the field. And it's tough to watch because it's the most basic fundamental thing as a wide receiver is to catch the ball. And the fact that not only is he dropping them, but he's dropping them in the hands of the opponents on a couple of occasions makes it really tough.
Danan, you mentioned, kind of going back and going with three wide, narrowing it down to three wide receivers as well. What about just what they did against their opponent this past week? The Patriots were multiple tight end sets, sometimes three tight end sets, and kind of deciding to go with that mentality, at least against New England. Do you think that's something that they're going to lean into even more heading into the postseason and down the stretch here?
I don't think we're going to have a one-dimensional situation. I think it's going to be fluid. And if the defenses or the scouting reports determine that three tight end sets would work, then we do it. I just don't feel like we're a team that's going to dial into one zone and that's all we're going to be regardless. I mean, if injuries are a factor and you only have a certain amount of tight ends available during the game, somebody gets hurt, then you have to deal with what you're dealing with. But to me, I don't think that Kadarius Toney, if he's active, which we expect him to be, I don't think you're not going to see him in the offense. You're going to see him in some aspect of the offense, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them still throw him the ball. I mean, we've seen that. Rashee Rice continues to get balls, even though he's put the ball on the ground. Kadarius Toney, up until this point, still got the ball. I feel like Andy Reid has been that coach that doesn't necessarily cave to that pressure of this guy is going to be ineffective. Let's cast him off, put him in the doghouse, and he's never going to be a factor again. That's what I like about this offense. I think that's what players can appreciate, is that you can make mistakes and not feel like you're never going to get the opportunity again. And that's what I expect. We are not in a situation now with Isaiah Pacheco coming back into the lineup, with hopefully Jerick McKinnon, although he was nicked up in and out of the game against the Patriots. Hopefully he's back full speed, that we're going to get into a position where we're just going to go with the safe guys. Whoever the safe guys are, whoever we determine are the safe guys, that's who we're going to go with. I feel like it's going to be a fluid situation, and guys will have an opportunity, like Kadarius, to redeem themselves. It might be on a smaller level, a smaller sample size, kind of like MVS has been. But I feel like that the doghouse is not anywhere where any of our receivers will be on a full-time basis, especially with Sky Moore going down.
You're talking about Rashee Rice. Something I was thinking a little bit about, Danan, is how we would normally have a conversation around, hey, yeah, he's been great, but when the NFL playoffs start and the speed picks up, he's a rookie wide receiver. Is it weird for me to not worry about that? Because he was thrust into, sorry, you got to be the number one guy on the defending Super Bowl champion, while these other guys did not step up to the challenge, so the postseason doesn't scare me?
I don't think it should be scary at this point, because he's a rookie, but he's not really a rookie anymore. I mean, we're talking about week 15 in the NFL season. He's got a sample size, and I want to go back to the early part of the season when there were so many people talking about getting him an opportunity. After we got past the preseason drops, and we started to kind of see the wide receiver group form, and we saw some of the ups and downs, a lot of people thought Rashee Rice should get more, MVS should get less. Let's get number 4 out there more and more. And we started to see the sample sizes grow slowly, and then we wanted it to grow a lot. And it was still growing in a small portion. And part of that is just like we saw last year with Isaiah Pacheco. We wanted that early in the season. Why isn't Isaiah Pacheco in? Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not the guy. This was all the narrative last year. And then lo and behold, we got what we wished for in the playoffs, late in the season and in the playoffs, and definitely in the Super Bowl. I feel like that's where we're at with Rashee Rice. And maybe that's just the MO for Andy Reid, is that unless you absolutely have to lean on a rookie, we're just going to bring him along to help him get acclimated to the game, the speed of the game, all the little details of ball security. And then when the time comes, when push comes to shove, and we are putting ourselves in a position for a Super Bowl run, then you're going to get the full dose. And that's probably the case with Rashee.
Danan Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver. Just lastly for you, Danan, before we let you go, when you look at the final 3 weeks now, and you see what's going on. Baltimore's got the Niners this week. The Dolphins have the Cowboys, and we know the Chiefs currently have the number 3 seed, and they're most likely, if you look at some of the probability index stuff, to be a 2 seed. How are you watching these final couple weeks? Yes, the Chiefs have to take care of their own business, but knowing what benefit you get by being one of those top 2 seeds, how are you watching, and do you believe the Ravens are going to be able to hold on?
So, yeah, I'm definitely focused on what the Chiefs have to do and what we have to accomplish on Christmas Day first and foremost. I like the fact that we got a 12 noon game, but there's games on Saturday and Sunday as well. But I'm an NFC fan this week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll with the NFC this week and hope that the NFC can help us out and that the path to the Super Bowl has to run back through GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium. And I think everybody in the Chiefs Kingdom is feeling that same way. So let's cheer on the NFC and handle our business at the same time and then let the chips fall where they may.
Danan, last thing from me before I let you get out here. What does a Danan Hughes family Christmas look like? I told them mine is loud and there's gambling and there's drinking. What's a Hughes family Christmas look like?
Oh, man, it's definitely loud. There's a lot of games. We got karaoke. We got, we'll shoot pool, maybe play some ping pong or something like that. We got card games. We're supposed to play a round of spades, board games as well. We got grandkids. So it's definitely loud, a lot of fun, a lot of great memories, some videos that'll be taken, and absolutely at the lead of my wife, incredible food. There's always incredible food at the Hughes house. My wife, Tiffany, shout out to her. She does an outstanding job with all of that. And we'll be overstuffed. We'll have some beverages, but the games and the karaoke and all that will be a part of it. It'll be a long, long day. Obviously for me, we're not going to have any kids that are going to wake up super early because all my kids are grown. But with the Chiefs game and me getting there for pregame and then waiting for the traffic to die down and tailgating a little bit before I get home and then the big party, it's going to be a long, long day. So it's going to carry into the 26th.
Yeah, I've seen the Danan Hughes karaoke videos on social media before, so my guess is we'll get another one. Danan, happy holidays, man. Players only tomorrow night. We'll be listening.
All right, fellas, you guys have a blessed and Merry Christmas as well, and we'll get this win this week. Let's do it.